On this episode of Street Rat Garage, we're
putting shiny new parts on junk old cars. Today we'll be working on a 1963 Plymouth Belvedere. This may look familiar to you as it did appear in Roadkill 2019 Hot Rod Power Tour. On that particular episode, they traded cars every day on the leg of the Power Tour. They started off with a Maverick. They traded that for a Jeep pickup truck with no bed. They traded the Jeep pickup truck for a Fiero, off-road Fiero. They traded the Fiero for the Belvedere, and then they traded the Belvedere for a Mustang. So I bought this Belvedere from the guy who traded his Mustang for this car. The Mustang was a really nice car. Why he traded this for the Mustang, I don't know. But the thing is, when they were done with that Mustang, on the last leg of the shoot, they gave him back the car. So he had the Belvedere and he had the Mustang. So he put the Belvedere up for sale. I saw it and I bought it. So I brought the car back. I drove it around a little bit, but it leaked water. It always had a radiator leak. It leaked water from the day they were driving it from Indianapolis to Fort Wayne. So I drove it a little bit, started using more and more water, so it got parked. So it's been sitting for about a year. So here's what we got. This is the old radiator, this is a new radiator. I couldn't find the exact radiator for this car. 1963 was kind of the last of a lot of things. When you go in to try to find parts for these cars, everything seems to start at like 64 and up. So sometimes you have to make compromises. But I was able to find this radiator off of eBay for like $130, and it was shipped here in like 3 days. So that's a pretty good deal. Now, if we have a look at it here, you can see it's actually bigger than the original radiator. It's wider. It's about the same height. The difference is that, as you can see here, the mounting, the water hose, bottom radiator hose, is not angled like this one. And the upper radiator hose is a little bit over to the left from the original. See, this one's right of the radiator cap, this one's left of the radiator cap. I believe this one was actually for a V8. So it's a 3-core, it's bigger, it's thicker, it's wider, and it's cheaper. I believe I did see one radiator that was just like this, but it was like $350. So I would like to do a V8 swap on that car someday. So I already have the radiator. It's cheaper, it's bigger, and it's shiny. But the other thing is the mounting holes are not quite the same. The plate is the same on this side. The mounting hose, pretty much identical place. The upper, this upper hole on this side is also the same. It's only until you get to this bottom hole on the right hand side, which would be the passenger side, it's a little bit different. That one's up higher than that one, but that is the only difference on mounting. And I am not afraid to drill a hole in the core support to mount this radiator. It's no big deal. This car isn't worth anything. This is, if it wasn't on Roadkill's show, I wouldn't even gave the price I gave for it. You know, this is like a $700 car that I gave quite a bit more for because it was on Roadkill. But that being said, let's have a look underneath the hood and see what we have going on. So one of the problems I was having when I removed this radiator was one of the transmission lines was kind of bound up and was not moving very good. So I wound up breaking the end of the line, which isn't that big of a deal. So as you can see, the line is still right here in the radiator. So that's not the end of the world. We can deal with that. We'll just splice it back together and go on down the road. Now, seen right here, this fan, for some reason, moved forward into the radiator, or the radiator moved backwards into the fan. Either or, it created this groove. For some reason, it's low on this side and high on this side, like it tilted forward. Maybe the radiator came forward, maybe the bolts loosened up and it hit the fan, but it creased all of these cooling vents. The tubes that run inside are smashed, so these are probably not working on this side. And there is a small leak in here somewhere. It looked like it'd be a huge leak, but it's actually not that bad. It's actually just a pinhole. All of this is creased and downward, not allowing a lot of flow right in this area. Now this, on the other hand, is some serious eye candy. Okay, now we're ready to carefully slide this into place, hopefully. I don't want to bend any of the fins on this brand new one. This will be the only nice thing in this whole entire car. And looks like I'm already gonna have to do some trimming on the ear here. So that is not just dropping into place like I had hoped. Nope, 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 nope. Okay, that's okay. I'm not afraid to cut things, even if they are brand new and shiny. Okay, a little snip snip. Oops, it fell out. Ooh, that's hot. Okay. Ow. And there you have another notch there, almost identical to the machine notch that was put in by the factory, or not. All right, let's try this again. Just carefully slip this back into place. Carefully slip this almost. Oh, and it's hitting the bottom, and it's like a 1/4 inch too tall. That little bit taller radiator is getting me. The cap is pretty even right here, so that shouldn't have a problem closing. Now it won't have a problem closing, but it's like a 1/4 inch too high, and it's sitting on the core support. So this is only one thing to do. Yeah, we'll just do a little bit of adjusting. Almost there. And here we go again. A little bit of hammer action, a little bit of cutting, and it fits like a O.J. Simpson glove. It's close enough. Just put a screw in there a little bit sideways, it'll go. This side lines up just fine. This side is just a hair off. But you know what, I'll make it work even if I have to drill that out just a little bit bigger. I mean, it's like 1/8 of an inch, not if even that. That is really close, so we'll get that in there. Okay, I drilled that hole out just a little bit bigger on the radiator bracket. Fits just fine now. Just put a washer on it. It's not going anywhere. We'll get this side tightened down. And the bottom, tighten down. And it's mounted. Now all that we have to do is figure out what we're going to do here on the radiator hose, because it doesn't fit anymore. The original fitting came in right about here, and now it's over here. So pretty much all I'm going to do is I'm going to measure from here to here and get some bendy flex hose. There's already some flex hose on the bottom, so that may not have been the original radiator to begin with. So we won't have any problems on the bottom. We'll get some measuring, get some flexi hose for the top, then fix the transmission lines, and we should be good to go. Okay, I just loosened up the bottom radiator hose. I'm just going to take it off the water pump and have a look and see what that's like. There we go. Oh, look at that. That is nasty. I don't know if you can see that. That hose has been on there for a long time. It's just one of those flexible hoses that you can just put on because you don't know what size really goes on there, or you just don't care, but has some sort of rubber or tape on the ends of it. It's all ballooned out and all nasty, so that bottom radiator hose wasn't going to last very long. So we're going to replace this one, and we're going to get another one, we're going to get another bendy hose like this and just run it right there like that. Actually, this is a pretty good length and would fit. That fits real good on there. Too bad that's such a crappy hose. It's like exactly what it needs to be. So we'll get another one of this length, and actually this is a little bit long for the bottom. So we'll get this for the top. We'll get just a little bit shorter, maybe one that we can cut or something for the bottom, and then we should be good to go. So we're gonna stop there because we got to go to the auto parts store and buy some stuff. Then we'll come back maybe tomorrow and finish this up. Okay, just come back from the auto parts store, got some more parts. Got two flex hose. They're both the same length. They're both the same length as this old one. So this should fit. I'll use one for the upper, one for the lower. This one has a little bit bigger opening to fit the little bit bigger opening on the new radiator. So let's go put some more good parts on this junk car. Well, I don't know if I'd exactly call these good parts, but they will work. They're brand new. It's not factory molding or anything, but this is what it had on it before. Somebody didn't order, couldn't find the right hose, so they just put a bendy hose on it. At least on the bottom one. They had a regular hose on the top one. But this will work quite nicely. It doesn't have to be perfect. This motor's not going to stay in this car. Eventually, I want to either put a big block Mopar in it, 440, 383, maybe a small block, a 360, which both can be found in a RV for like $400 or $500, or LS swap. LS swap might be a way to go on this one, because I am having a hard time finding a K member, a big block K member or a small block K member for some reason, because they all seem to start, you know, aftermarket, or they're really hard to find 63 and below. I have been looking and I haven't found any 63 and below big blocks that's out of the car. You know, I've seen some that are in, and you know, they want $5,000, $6,000, $7,000, you know, for the car. So I haven't found, you know, a $500, $600, $700 car that I can take the big block and the K member out of. and put it in this car. So most of the stuff is for 64 and up that I've seen, even the LS swap stuff. But you know, I could just weld some mounts in here for the LS and just go that route. Of course, there is a steering gearbox that may be in the way of doing that swap as well. So, but for now, we're just going to run this slant 6. Oh, there is a possibility of a 225 build on this as well. 225 slant 6. That would be kind of cool. Kind of weird. Probably more than doing an LS swap though. So we'll find out. I'm going to put this in real quick and put some water in it and then work on the transmission lines. So what happened on the transmission lines here, these two fittings, this adapter and this female fitting got fused together. You could not move them separately without moving the line. So the line got pinched and twisted and it came apart. So I'm going to use this cutter. I'm going to take this female fitting off and cut the other line and just stretch it out a little bit because it's kinked a little bit, and splice it all back together and we should be good to go. Okay, here we go. Ratchet wrench would be nice right about now, but forgot to bring that. A little thread tape might have been good too. Didn't bring that. When this all goes terribly wrong, then we'll do it the right way. There we go. Little fuel line. There's pressure on these transmission lines, but not that much. Probably not as much as a fuel pump would have on it. A fuel line would have on it with a fuel pump. There's that. We'll cut this line up here. Just cut it there-ish with a dull razor blade. Make sure to get the dullest razor blade you can get. It needs to be dull enough not to cut rubber, but sharp enough to cut your finger when you slip. Perfect. And then you have a little bit of extra. You keep this in your glove box for when this fails and you can do it again. These little guys, hose clamp it all together. A little transmission fluid in there to lube it up. Get them all tightened down. And of course it is time for a test drive. So let's see what we can find.
up a couple more gauges. It's a good time. That's it for this episode of Street Rat Garage. Tune in next time. See what we do. Don't forget, click on that little subscribe button. Subscribe. Did I say that right? Click on the subscribe button. Share. Comment. Let me know what I need to do with this car. Do I need to LS swap it? Do I need a motorhome 440 it? Do I need to build the slant 6? Leaning tower of crap? Let me know in the comments. Ciao.
Yeah.